If
No,
you're
good.
from Washington and they discharge prior to Callista starting, we don't have access to them. That's why.
True, these ones are Callista though.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, I've run into that quite a bit with the Callista and Caldera thing.
Have you already gotten in and started kind of messing around and using the system a little bit?
I've been using it for the past week.
Okay.
So
Awesome. What are your thoughts on it so far?
so far so good. I mean, with when I scan it to email, I can hear a ding every time it comes up. So I had one small problem and it's only been one blip. When I did a whole bunch of documents, I scanned, I think it was like 100,
Okay.
honestly, and one document didn't appear. It
Okay.
couldn't display it. So I had to go through the pile that I had scanned in and double check which ones actually went through. And I think that was maybe an internet glitch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, if you get up into the range of 100 documents, I mean, I know it's nice to put as many documents on as possible just to save you from scanning a bunch. But if it's possible to do it in like stacks of 50, that would be probably a good way to avoid that. But
That
um,
that was my life
it's
lesson.
yeah, it sounds like it was just one case though, correct?
Yeah, it was only one so far in the past week, so I was like, stuff happens.
Not terrible. Yeah. Okay.
But all
Awesome.
in
Well,
all, I like the system.
okay, beautiful. That's good to hear. Yeah, it's something, and as we're kind of kicking things off, we come from nursing homes ourselves and had developed this in our facilities because our teams were just constantly standing at the scanners for hours upon hours at end, and just really challenged overall with getting documentation into our residents' charts efficiently. We were sitting on stacks of paper, and the storage costs and everything, started to skyrocket. And it was just kind of one of those things that I'm sure you guys experience it in your day to day, but it's just a very manual process. And essentially this application here is just going to remove a lot of those steps for you, give you some really awesome features that'll allow you to do this really efficiently, and hopefully give you guys some more time back to focus on more important things. So I believe we have everyone in here. I'm not 100%, but I am recording this. So if anybody is not able to make this, training, or if there's additional support that's needed beyond this, we're happy to jump on with you guys at any time. I'll show you a quick link where you can book a time individually with us as well, if it's better for you in a one-on-one setting. Happy to jump on with you at any time. And a lot of times what we see is that this tool will start in medical records, and then after a little bit of time using it, a lot of times other departments can start scanning. There's no additional cost for users or additional equipment as well. So if you wanted to set this shortcut up on multiple scanners, we can definitely help you guys out with that. So I'll make sure you guys have my contact information, and can obviously connect with your leadership team as well on that. But here in support as you guys roll this out. And do you guys all have access now to the Scan to PCC shortcut on your scanners? Those are kind of the two key things: is making sure that that shortcut is on your scanner, and then also that you guys have been able to log in and not experiencing any issues there. So if you need to reach out to me directly coming off this call, we can get that all resolved for you. And there's one simple thing I just want to make sure that we get across too when it comes to scanning documents and having them appear in this dashboard. We want to make sure that that time frame is right around 2 minutes. So if you guys are seeing anything beyond that time frame, if it's taking 15 minutes, if it's taking an hour, if they show up the next day, that's something from a technical perspective that we want to address. So it doesn't happen often, but if it does happen, that's something that we definitely want to be brought to our attention so that we can get that resolved for you. So um, just to give you guys a bit more information on this, it is a web-based application. I believe you guys all should have received welcome emails with your login credentials. If you haven't received that, definitely let me know. We can get that sent out for you. This is a web-based application, so you guys don't need to download anything on your computers. You'll just access it through the web link that'll be sent to you. You can either bookmark that in your web browser, or some companies will have a little link on the desktop. But you'll access it through that simple URL. And then from there, you're able to, quickly assign documents to this dashboard and then push them to your residence chart. So the current process, and this is, something that we always found very challenging, is a lot of times you'll scan in documents. They're going to go into an email or a shared folder. From there, you have to, go into the document, rename it, save the document, go into point click here, find your resident. And not terrible if you're doing one or two documents, but if you're doing multiple documents a day, it can be very, very challenging and just really taxing. So that's where we developed this application. As I mentioned, you guys should now have a shortcut on your scanners that'll say scan to PCC. So you'll get some documents, you'll place them on the glass, you'll hit that shortcut. And like I said, within 2 minutes, we want to see those documents here on this dashboard. So scanners is going to be the big one. You also can drag and drop items into this dashboard as well. So if you have some PDFs on your desktop or an email and you want to get them into your residence charts, you can click and drag those documents into this top right field up here where it says upload files. And then when I release those, it runs them through a really quick virus scan. And you can see they populate here. So now I have 32 documents that I have to push to my chart. And then we also can integrate this system with eFax as well. So not everybody uses eFax, but if you do use eFax and you want to cut out some more steps, we can hook up that eFax number to sync directly with this dashboard. So when you receive an eFax, it'll show up automatically in this dashboard. You don't have to print it. You don't have to scan it. It's going to remove some steps for you there. And then you can also send eFaxes from the system too. So I'll walk you through that just in case you guys are interested in hooking up an eFax line directly to this system. We can take that discussion offline and get you guys set up so that you can send in and receive eFaxes. Once I have documents into this dashboard here, I'll just start with a simple one pager. I'm able to view my document in full resolution here. And of course, there's the 4 things we need to know to be able to get this into our residence chart. So first is the effective date. Now, by default, it's always set as today's date. You can quickly change that within this calendar if you like. Next is your residence. So as it was kind of discussed earlier, I want to make sure all of your residents are in here. So your discharge, your active residents. These are going to be defined by last name, comma, first name. The D you see here is for discharge. You'll have an A there for active. And then if you guys are using waiting lists or the CRM, there'll be an N there for new. And then you also have your resident identification number. This list can get pretty long. I just have discharge residents in my system, but I always just like to type in these fields. So if I start typing Jack, it's going to find any Jack in my system, and then I can select my resident. So typing in these fields is always kind of a quick shortcut to find your residents a little bit quicker. Under document categories, this is your miscellaneous document categories. All of these, the residents and your miscellaneous document categories are going to be synced up with PCC. So any changes you guys make, you get a new admission, those should automatically appear. And then you're also going to have your document categories. So if you guys add a new miscellaneous document category, our system is going to automatically pull that, and you should be able to find all of your miscellaneous document categories in here. You can see this list is pretty long as well. I'm just going to go ahead and type in progress note. It's going to find progress note for me. And then lastly is what we want to name the document. So by default, it's going to name it your miscellaneous document category. We do have a new update and we can sync up with you guys on this, but let's say every time I selected progress note, I wanted it to say progress note, my residence name, and the effective date as an example. Anytime I click progress note, it's automatically going to grab that data and automatically populate it for me. So you won't have any misspelling errors. And then when you go into your residence chart, everything looks really, really uniform. So that's an update that we do have. You guys can type in this field as well. So if you wanted to name the document or, add, let's say, a date in here real quickly, you can add a date to this. So you can type in a little bit more information. And then I just have 2 green buttons. Upload and homepage is going to push this document to my residence chart, and then taking back to that list of documents. Upload and next is going to push this to my residence chart, but then just load up that next document that I had in my queue there on the first page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to show you guys a little bit more in real time. So I'd be able to view my document here. Let's say I wanted to change the effective date to a different date. And then I'd be able to find my resident. You can find these by scrolling or typing. And then obviously we're selecting our document category. And then you can see here's an example of our template. So this is if I wanted miscellaneous document category and the residence identification number. You can see when I click that, it automatically populates it for me. And then I just hit one of these 2 green buttons, upload and homepage or upload and next. So really quick to just kind of push documents in. I know that's the easiest document, but I wanted to stop here real quick. Do you guys have any questions on kind of how to get documents into this dashboard? Are there any questions around, how to get documents in, or just push a simple document to point click care? You guys can drop it in the chat too as well if you feel more comfortable with that, but feel free to stop me at any time as I'm going. Okay. All right. Another really awesome feature, and I want to make sure we have a good grasp on this one because this is the solution within the app that really makes things quick for you. So single documents are great, right? They're pretty easy to get through, but let's say we have multiple documents and a physician passes off multiple progress notes for multiple patients. I either have to scan those in individually or use some sort of a PDF editor to break up those documents. I'm just going to go ahead and show you here. Here's a simple 24 pager. When I click on this document, let's say I have multiple progress notes in here, I scan these all in together, and I want to quickly break these up. Instead of using a PDF editor or let's say Nitro to break those up, I'm going to go ahead and use, instead of these 4 fields here, I'm going to use this split PDF tool. And when I click on this, it's going to open up this window that allows me to break up this document into 50 separate categories. So this is a fantastic solution, like I said, just to keep you out of using a PDF editor and all the back and forth. So I scanned in some documents. I can page through these really quickly. So let's say on page 4, it switches to a different resident. I'm going to say pages 1 of, let's say 6 are going to go to, this resident. We'll just break up some progress notes real quick. And then we'll add a different resident, same resident. Anything I do within these categories, it's going to do for me. So I can even use a different document category. We'll say pages 7 to 12 are going to go to this resident. And then let's say at page 12, it breaks to another resident, another document category. I just continue to page through. And then on page 13, it's a different resident. I just click add document and I can break this up again. So you can do that up to 50 times. So case of into admission, you get a bunch of miscellaneous document categories. You can have those populate all for the same resident and just break up those document categories really, really quick. So I'll add a different resident in here just to show you that. We can type in these fields again to make it a little bit quicker. And we're going to say pages 13 to 24 are going to go to this resident. And then when I hit split PDF, it's going to take that 124-page document. It's going to split it up into 3 pieces, and then it's going to send it off to those 3 different residents charts. So that tool right there is really, really impactful. I want to make sure if there's any questions you guys have on that. I know we've already been using it a little bit, but is there anything that's kind of holding you up with that one? That one's going to be a big one for you as you guys are breaking up documents and kind of staying out of using a PDF editor now. All set. Okay, awesome. You guys are quiet today. Come on now. All right, so there's another quick feature for you. I know you guys have probably bumped into this from time to time, but there is a maximum file size that you guys can upload to Point Click Care. Seems to be different with every customer, but it's really frustrating. You work a document through and then you get all the way to that final step to hit submit and push to their chart. And then you'll receive that, notification that it doesn't meet the maximum file size, and you got to go back and either shrink that document or rework it to have it meet that maximum file size. Just know that our system is going to automatically do that for you. So you're going to run through the same steps. You're going to select your resident. You're going to select your document category. And then when it shows up in the chart, you're just going to hit one of these 2 green buttons. And when it shows up in the chart, it's going to look something like that. So it'll say part 1 of 6 or 2 of 6. And it's just going to go ahead and break it up for you. So when you look at it, the documents in your residence chart, they'll all be automatically broken up for you. You're never going to receive that notification again. So I know that was always a major pain with our teams, but just know that when you push the document, it's going to break it up into as many pieces as it needs to meet that maximum file size you guys are looking for. So that's kind of the ins and outs of how to get documents in and push them through. I'll show you guys eFax real quick if you don't have any further questions on it. But I'll go ahead and walk you through eFax. So here's a good example here. So this is an eFax that's come straight into my dashboard, didn't have to print or scan it. I'm able to simply view the document. If I had to split this up, let's say this one shows it's 2 pages and I want to split it up. You can do all kinds of things in here. So let's say I didn't want to include the cover page. I could just start on page 2. So I can just say 2 of 2. Let's say if I was eFax a document that had, a cover page that I didn't want to include, I can just start on page 2. And then, when you hit that split PDF, hold on 1 second. So yeah, you can break up documents really quickly with that splitter tool. Right within this application, so you don't ever have to bump into that anymore. But like I said, when the flow of documentation is just working straight in from your eFax provider, it's a lot more simple to just kind of push documents through. You don't have to print them or scan them or any of that. If you wanted to, let's say, eFax a document out. So if I have a physician who stops by my office and they say, hey, I just took down some notes for a resident, I want to push those to the chart, but can you also send those my way as well? We can do that right from within this system. So instead of using these 4 fields here, I'm just going to use this eFax tab. And then I'm just going to go ahead and eFax this to myself so you guys can see how it works. But there's an address book that you can have saved here if you're sending these off to consistent destinations. You can add a cover page as well. We can help you guys get set up with that. So you can add a cover page. And then, I can send a quick eFax right off to the doctor's office. So let's just say we're going to send some notes. Sorry, my internet's getting a little slow on me. There are your notes. And then I have 2 options here. I can send an eFax and delete the document, or I can send an eFax and send to PCC. So I want to push this to my residence chart after I send this eFax. So I click that. Just like that, the eFax is queued up and it's on its way out. And then I have the same document in front of me here. And then I would just select my resident. I can select my document category and then upload and homepage or upload and next. So we started with 30 documents in this queue, and we've just been kind of going through them and knocking them out, right? If you're doing upload and next, it's just going to load up the next document, and then hopefully you're clearing out this whole queue. And hopefully by the end of your day, you don't have any documents in here. There is a maximum time that we allow the documents to sit in this dashboard. It is just a simple pass-through system. So once we receive the code from PCC that's been accepted in the chart, we just remove that from our system. So we don't want to have documents sitting in here for too long. We want to get them into our residence charts. You guys may see these little notifications here. This one shows it's got 2 days left before it hits that time. These are expired. So when that happens, we're going to start emailing every user that uses the system and just let you guys know that there's some documents that are sitting in your dashboard that need to get pushed to the residence chart. So just know that if you guys are receiving those notifications, sometimes we'll see it if somebody, scans some documents and goes out on LOA or takes a vacation and forgets that they had some documents in there. It's going to go ahead and notify you guys to push those through. So that's eFax. Under the history, the eFax tab, just real quickly to finish up on that, you can see this one's processing here. It's going to show you all the statuses of all the eFaxes that have been sent out. It's going to have, who sent it at what time, just kind of give you a little running log here of your eFax information, and then as well as your history tab. This is a good one to touch on just because this is a great tool for reconciliation. So if you guys want to see which documents have been pushed to which chart, it's going to show you a full running list here. Mine's not showing it for me as the test system, but it'll show you all the documentation that's been sent. It'll show you who sent it, under which category, from which copier did it come from. It's going to give you a lot of really valuable information there. So new admission comes in, you guys have a bunch of documents you're scanning in, you want to make sure they're all getting to that residence chart. You can search this by date or by resident. You can also export this list too if you wanted to do that, weekly or quarterly. And then, you can search by resident. So mine is going to have discharged residents in here, but this is a good example. These are 3 documents that have been pushed to the chart. It's going to show me who did it, under which copy, under which document category. Just know that if you go to click on this here to actually view the document, it no longer exists in our system. So it's just been passed through to PCC. It's been accepted and it's living within the residence chart. So if you're trying to click on these icons to view the document, it's not going to be in our system there. So that's the history tab. And then under settings real quickly, you guys are just going to have the top 3 items. So obviously if we're making any changes to our password, pretty simple. When you guys receive that welcome email, you'll be able to type in the current password and then update your password here. And then one other thing I wanted to touch on was just overall the training in general. So We have an awesome, portal here that has some training videos. They're just quick little 3-minute clips, but they walk you through the ins and outs of the application, kind of a little bit more broken down. So if you're interested in learning more about the split PDF tool, you can just watch this little 3-minute clip. Or if somebody on your team is, wanting some more information or starting to use the system, you can always reference these videos as kind of a quick little touch base. If you guys do have any questions beyond that, training with us is always free. So you guys can schedule a live training with me or a member of my team at any time. And we can just click on this button here. It's going to bring up a link with the date and time. You can just schedule that with, the time frame that works for you, and we'll make sure we jump on with you and support you guys through the onboarding process. Um, and then under support as well, you guys will have my information, and I'll be touching base with you here in the next week or so as this is rolling out. Just want to make sure everybody's getting logged in properly and getting comfortable with the system. If there's any sort of hiccups you guys are having from a technical perspective or anything like that, we want to hear about it immediately and then be able to jump on it for you and get those resolved. But as long as you guys are able to log in, you see that shortcut on your scanner, and it sounds like we need to dive into the residents on a couple of facilities, and just make sure that those are all synced up and aligned with what you guys have in front of you. That's the first thing I'm going to jump on right now. So, is there any other questions while you guys got me on of how to get documents into the system, or anything I can show you again while we got you? If not, we'll cut you loose. All set. Don't be shy, guys. Come on. That's usually a good sign. It means that it's as easy as we think it is. That's my hope. That's what we set out to do when we built this tool, is to make your lives easier and not to put another thing on your plate. So if there's any questions, happy to answer those. If not, thank you guys for jumping on. You have my information in front of you, and if there's any questions you guys have, if you need to reach out to me for any reason, definitely do it at any time, and I'll make sure we jump on and get you in front of the right folks to get you supported.
Hi, I have a question, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, so I know that you mentioned that with like the scanned documents, you guys do have a limited time of how long you want it there and you send the reminders of email. What's the
Yes.
time frame of how long it can stay in there?
Yeah, so you can set that. Let me see if I have access on this side of it. You can definitely set that setting to, I want to say right now it's 7 days, I'm pretty sure by default, but I can check into that for you. Is there a specific time that you guys want that time frame to be?
No, I was just curious, so that way, like, to be a little bit more aware in case of, certain documents does tend to pile up.
Okay. Yeah. Right now, I believe it's currently set at 7 days. We can make an adjustment on that time as well. Just know we're never going to delete any of the documents. So I think there is some messaging in there that if it reaches that time, we're going to delete the documents. But what essentially we're going to do, it's kind of a scare tactic, but we're just going to start pushing messages to you guys and just let you know. It's going to start with all of the users, and then if the documents exceed that limit, then it's going to go to the administrative role within the application to let them know that the documents are in there. So I'll do a quick check on that, but I believe it is 7 days is my understanding right now.
And then I know that you mentioned earlier that, if we wanted to add other users or other departments to have access, do we just go to that icon that says users and then add them?
Yes, that's if you have access to so you guys are just going to have, most of the users are going to have access to just these three portals. Your admin users is going to have access to these as well. So if your admin user wants to add a new user, you simply just go in, you select your user, and then you just need first name, last name, email, and then which access. So if you had, somebody in admissions who just wants to see what they're scanning, we can actually separate those folders so that it's almost like you have your own dashboard. A lot of times our medical records team is going to have access to all the folders, but we can get pretty granular on how we set those up. So that's a discussion that we can take offline too if you want to reach out to me directly, and we can get all that dialed in for you. But your admin users should be able to add new users. If you need me to add somebody, I can definitely do that for you as well.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. And I appreciate how informative you've been. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Is there any other questions from you guys? All set. Well, we'll have everybody have a great rest of the day. Like I said, you have my information. I'll be touching base with you here in the next few days, just making sure everybody's logged in okay. So if you receive a call from me, just calling in to check in on you guys and make sure everything is running smoothly for you. So hopefully you'll be hearing from me soon, and excited to get your guys' feedback. If there's any feature requests or anything like that, we always, take those from our customers. We are a small company here, but really focused on what's going to make the biggest impact for you. So a lot of the features that you see that have been built into here are from our customers who are in the same position as you guys. So if there's anything that would help you guys out, you can go ahead and just punch it into this feature request. Our team's going to receive it and review it and see if it's something that we'll add to the features of the application. So we're always working really close with you guys to make sure that we're doing the best we can to fully support you across the board. So if there's anything you're like, hey, it'd be great if the app did this, just write us a quick suggestion in there. We'll make sure we have a look at it, and we'll reach out to you too and see what we can do to build that in for you. Awesome, guys. Well, have a great rest of the day. Thanks again for jumping on. If there's anything I can do at all to support, I'm very happy to do it at any time. So feel free to reach out, and have a great rest of the day, and let us know what you think once you get in and start using it.
All right. Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.